All right, my friends, this is the first video in a series I'm calling Tableau CRM for Tableau users. So I'm going to walk you through what is the UI like for Analytics Studio and how you can sign up for it. So first and foremost, in order to actually access the Analytics Studio, one option for you is to just sign up to the Developer Edition that you can do here from this link. This is part of the Trailblazer training that we're getting. You can also set up your own SDO with nice analytics involved. John Denby has a great video series of how to do that on the Tableau CRM enablement page on Sales Insight that you can take a look at. But in terms of what you should do once you do have it, we're going to go through that right now. So once you open it, you'll find that in the Analytics Studio tab, you have this UI in front of you that breaks things down pretty similarly to how we think about Tableau. So we have our apps, which are the folders, and this is where we're going to set up the different permissions, who accesses what folder that has a different dashboards in it, the data sets, etc. We have the dashboards, which we know what that means. We have lenses, which are, the way I think about them is more like sheets that you can save as a standalone sheet that can be used across multiple different dashboards without having to copy paste it like you would in Tableau. And then you also have the data sets. So the idea is simple. You normally start off by connecting to the data sets first. I'm still kind of exploring that. I'm going to do that as video number 2 in the series. But for now, using the pre-existing data sets that were loaded as part of the Trailblazer training that I'm doing, I'm going to start off by clicking on opportunities. And that automatically creates a lens for me. So the lens, like I said, is a sheet that's like permanent sheet that you can add to a dashboard if you wanted to. So as we can see here, automatically this bar chart came up for all the rows of opportunities that we have. And then from the bar length, we can actually change what we are looking at. So instead of count, we might want to look at sum of opportunities, which looks like we would in Tableau Desktop. Maybe we'll do it by the let's do it by the amount. So this is the sum of amount as opposed to the count of opportunities that we have. So how much are we do we have in terms of the actual pipeline? So we have $821 million in pipeline, but that it could be also close won and close loss. So let's fix that right now. So let's break it down by specific categories. So I'm going to break it down by, let's do it by type, opportunity type right here. All right, so we can see that in terms of the types themselves, we have existing business, new business, and new business add-on, and that's how it's broken down. I'm going to actually quickly add a filter to go to it's closed, and I'm going to say open instead of closed. And now we can actually see the opportunities that exist that are not close won or close loss, broken down by existing, new business, and new business add-on. So just to recap, all I did was, if you think about it from the Tableau perspective, normally we drag things to the rows and to the columns. In this case, the rows and columns comes in the version of bar length and bars. And you can actually add a third option, which is the trellis, which break things down by a third view. So let's test this out really quickly. I'm going to add less activity, and then I'm going to say by year. All right, so now you can see that the original view that we had got broken down into 2 tabs here by 2020 and 2021, which are the years where our current open opportunities lie, right? So there are certain things here that you can do aesthetically, just like you would in Tableau. So one thing that we can look at here is we can change things in terms of what kind of chart we're looking at. And the way it works in Tableau CRM is kind of like the Show Me menu. You can actually just click on whatever visualization you want. It's a little bit different than in Tableau. Obviously, in Tableau, we have a little bit more flexibility in that area. But still, this is a simple user interface that other people would really enjoy, I believe. So we can just look at it from a perspective of, say, we wanted to look at it by line. That's one option. But obviously, as we all know, bar graphs are 99.9% the right choice. And then in terms of formatting, you can do things such as remove the legend, just like we would in Tableau Desktop. You can change the colors or align it, etc. All right, so we have the formatting here. We have the type of chart that we want to visualize here. And then over here, you can see that there's different options. So we have here the bar, like the chart option, but then you also have the table mode, so that completely switches things to looking at it from a table perspective. And then the third thing is you can actually query this directly here using the Salesforce query language. But for now, we're just going to focus on the bars, right? Okay, I didn't realize that if you do the bars, that will mess things up for us. So let's see if we can undo here. I guess not. I guess if we have to undo, we have to undo it manually. Here we go. So we're back to where we started. All right. So now that we've created the lens, what can we do here? Well, we can add this to a dashboard. So let's just rename this potentially if we can save it. So I'm going to save it as, let's call it open ops. And then I'm just going to save it to my folder, which is my private app. So this is one of the nice things about this is like each person has their own sandbox environment for their own app development, which makes things a little bit easier in terms of scale. So once I have it saved, okay, now I can potentially just like use this. So I'm gonna cut it, clip it, and then I'm going to clip it to designer, and that takes me straight to a dashboard. So that's one way you can create a dashboard right away from the lens, as opposed to just clicking and adding a new dashboard. You have to like kind of clip the lens itself, because you should remember that the lens can be copy pasted into several dashboards, right? So now I can take the lens from this right side. So the small difference between lenses and queries. Queries are exactly the same as lens, except they only live in the dashboards from what I'm understanding. So that means like from here, I can see the different sheets, if you like, of that's within a dashboard, and I can add them, but I can actually create my own queries straight from the dashboard so that I can add other views as well. So let me start off by just making this a little bit more looking at it, and then we're gonna add a query here. So again, this query part, it used to also be called step in ICE Analytics. This query part is only applicable to the dashboard that you're creating, as opposed to a lens that's applicable to multiple dashboards. So let me do this. Let me just add, for example, cases here real quickly. And then you can see that it kind of brings me back to almost like the lens view, right? Where we can see the number of cases total. But what if we want specifically the number of cases count by, let's break it down by the opportunity or account, right? Account name. All right, so you can see all of them here, and then we can also sort by ascending. All right, so now we see all the ones. Maybe let's do it by descending because that might make more sense. All right, so we can see the top cases for different accounts. And then we can also change the query limit here to make it, let's do 5. That will only return the top 5. All right, so now we only see the top 5 cases. We can call this top 5 cases by account. All right, and then maybe we can add also a filter like opportunity if I can find. No, let's not do that because I don't think we can add it to opportunities because this data set doesn't have that. And now we have in the case tab, this is the case data set. You can see the top 5 cases that I've created. So the flexibility here that it really comes from the fact that you can query different data sets while you're creating these different sheets one at a time. I'm not really sure how, you can add, like, if you can add action filters yet, like in Tableau. I'm kind of learning through that a little bit, but it seems to me, let me see. Yeah, I don't really think you can do that, but I haven't really figured it out yet. But so far, you can see that we have dragged 2 different data sets with 2 different sheets, but this one won't exist outside of this specific dashboard, while this one would, because this one came from a lens as opposed to a query that just is here. All right, I think that's it for today as I'm trying to figure this out. But obviously, just so you know, you can once again change here some of the formatting. So I'm going to add just real quickly. Let's let's change the bar chart type, and then I'm going to quickly change the theme to light. All right, so now we have two different looking dashboards at the very least. Thank you.